This week on the Movies and Stuff show, we talk about sequels that no one wants, X-Men billboards. We're going to talk about Martin Scorsese getting cursed out in our top 10 favorite music scenes in film. Stay tuned. And welcome once again to the Movies and Stuff show. We are coming to you live from the suburbs of New Jersey and Missouri. My name is Dan, and joining me is a man who is already planning a sequel to this episode, Abe.
Yeah, it's called A Good Episode. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't know what a sequel to this one would be. 10 more good music scenes? Well, 10 was, that's hard.
No, I mean, it would be, I guess, 10 best music scenes in films, part 2, Electric Boogaloo.
There you go. That's exactly what it would be.
That's what it would be. Let's talk sequels for a bit. In probably the most obvious news ever reported, apparently, studios are now realizing that making sequels isn't really a good idea. Numerous sequels have underperformed this past year, and now several studios are taking a big hit, and frankly, good. They should be taking a hit because they keep putting out these goddamn sequels to movies that no one really wants, and maybe they can stop spending money on this crap and spend money on other crap that no one wants to see.
Yeah, that's it right there, isn't it? They're rudderless right now. They're absolutely rudderless right now. But because that's your key phrase right there. Sequels no one wanted. They're just terrible. Like,
let's talk about a couple of them. Snow White and the Huntsman.
Yeah. Who wasn't demanding that?
Alice Through the Looking Glass.
Johnny Depp's going to be paying a lot of money very soon, so he needed it.
Now, here's the thing, is apparently, there are these diamonds in the rough sequels that go on to make money. Pitch Perfect 2 was a good example
that makes money?
That made a ton of money. That was so surprising. They did such a great job marketing that film that it made a ton of cash. So you have these moments, these rarities, and that makes studios think everyone wants sequels. No one wants sequels. In fact, apparently this new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie is actually pretty good, but it's bombing at the box office because no one wanted it, which is just weird because it's actually turning out to be well received. No one was clamoring for it. Because if they were clamoring for it, we'd see a lot more money for it.
Yeah, no shit. I just don't get it. Like, what was the preview I saw for when I was at X-Men? Oh, Now You See Me Part 2? Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, no, totally. Which, you saw who the bad guy in it is, though?
I have not. I can't even recall anything about the trailer now.
Daniel Radcliffe. I thought that was pretty funny.
That is kind of funny.
But yeah, I mean, I don't get it. And I could see that there are times where sequels are wanted, right? Mm-hmm. I'll give you an example. Deadpool. I think a sequel is warranted to that.
I think so.
Yeah, when you're in like a series of films, I guess it's a given that, but even so, Deadpool was kind of a shot in the dark. Who knew that it was going to do so well? So I think it's warranted a sequel. I think something like The Matrix probably didn't need a sequel, but its performance warranted one. I think people were interested in seeing more of it. They didn't really deliver, but I do think that there are times where sequels are warranted, but I don't think that it should just be a default. The movie did okay. Let's automatically greenlight the sequel.
That's it right there. I think that's exactly what it is. You remember in the 80s, maybe you don't remember in the 80s, but the general thought was for kids in the 80s is that all sequels suck. It seemed like then Hollywood wised up and said, "Oh, okay, we're going to make movies, or at least make sequels that don't suck, or at least to movies that deserve sequels, I guess."
Yeah.
And then we've come full circle. Now everything gets a sequel.
Yeah, it's insane.
It really is, and you've got to think this is just, again, like the superhero trend. This is an unsustainable system.
Yeah, they got to figure something out because it's not going well. Also, something that's not going well, and what's keeping on the topic of making crappy sequels, is
There we go.
Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro has been known to do a crappy sequel or two, and apparently he appeared at the Guys Choice Awards, wherever the fuck that is. But he was alongside his longtime cohort, Joe Pesci.
Oh,
And De Niro kind of took a friendly jab at Pesci, saying that every time that Scorsese asked Pesci to be in his new film, I think it's called The Irishman, every time that Scorsese asked Pesci, Pesci tells him to go fuck himself. Now, I don't know, Abe. Maybe, just maybe, De Niro should have taken a bit more of a cue from Pesci over the last 20 years.
they probably should have. Yeah, man. I mean, Bobby just shit all over his legacy. I mean, seriously, what was the last cool Robert De Niro flick? Was it Heat? I mean, don't tell me it was Jackie Brown. I mean, because that was Tarantino's best movie, but it had nothing to do with De Niro. I'm trying to think what the last kick-ass De Niro flick was, and I think it was probably Heat.
Wow, has it been that long? I'm going IMDb.
Oh, let's do it.
I'm going to ask. I'm
Well,
going to ask the wise computer.
Yeah, there you go. Well, while you're doing that, do you remember, like 2008, when De Niro left CAA agency? Do you remember all that? Like, there was that anonymous commenter. Mm-hmm. He said he was an agent, and he just ripped him a new one. He said De Niro, he had a choice 10 years ago from 2008, so 1998. He could either go the Nicholson route, very selective, very particular, protect the brand, or go sending himself up with tripe like Analyze This, which made him money, but turned him into that old psycho guy. Mm-hmm. And studios were asking, why should we pay this guy who doesn't open a movie anymore the payoff to his production company just so he can add his name as a producer?
Man,
Yeah.
I'm looking.
Yeah, what do you got? Anything?
Oh my God, I keep going. I haven't found anything yet. Copland. It's 97.
Maybe.
But I don't even connect him to Copland really.
No,
Right?
It's Stallone's.
That's Stallone and what's his name? More of a Harvey Keitel, and even Leota. Jackie Brown 97. The Fan. I liked it, but let's see. Sleepers. Casino. Casino was 95 with Heat 95.
Okay.
So Casino and Heat 95.
We're getting some little guff in the chat.
Are we?
What? I Am Better. Kim is saying that De Niro was the bomb in Machete, yo.
Okay, maybe, but still, that's not his. It wasn't he.
Yeah.
That wasn't his really film. He was in it. I mean, let's look at some of the things that Dirty Grandpa, Joy, right? Last Vegas,
Yeah.
Grudge Match. We are looking at Silver Linings Playbook, which I freaking hated. Hated that movie. Limitless, he was in. Little Fockers. Just What Happened. Man. Meet the Fockers, of course. Analyze That. 15 minutes. Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle. Meet the Parents. Analyze This. Great Expectations. Ronin. I mean...
Yeah, I guess Ronin was okay. It had the cartridge. People like The Intern, Marty is telling us.
I don't even know what The Intern is. What's The
I
Intern?
didn't. I don't watch Lifetime movies, Marty.
Which one was The Intern? I have no idea what that one is. But apparently people like that one. Okay, so he did one good movie in the last 21 years. I mean, I'm not saying that Pesci went out on top. I think he went out with what, eight heads in a duffel bag. Was that his last one, or
Gone Fishing, something like
Gone
that?
Fishing?
Yeah,
Gone
it was one of
Fishing
those,
was his last one, and he just waved the white flag after that one.
yeah. I think we all waved the white flag after that one. Yeah, go get your fucking shine box.
But I don't know, man. I get it. I get that De Niro he's got to eat. He's cashing paychecks. He's got to raise money for anti-vaccination movies.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think De Niro spends his money on?
I honestly,
his last name literally means money.
Well, yeah. We'll come back to you in a second. You are way overstimulated right now. Wasn't Tribeca costing him a shitload of money?
Yeah, I can assume so.
Yeah.
I assume so. I don't know, man. Good for Pesci, honestly. I mean, I would like to see Pesci, especially in a Scorsese film.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. The gang should get back together for one last one.
I think they should, but
maybe a sequel. Goodfellas Part 2.
Goodfellas 2, Electric Boogaloo. All right, last topic.
Last topic. All right.
I'm excited about this one. I want to talk to you about this. Well, I'm not excited. I'm just interested in getting your perspective. Apparently, not only couldn't X-Men Apocalypse get the whole making a film aspect right, they can't even get their advertising right.
Yeah.
Fox apologized for a billboard that depicted Apocalypse choking Mystique, Rose McGowan. I don't know why the fuck she's saying anything, but Rose McGowan, who, if I remember correctly, didn't she die horribly in Scream? And wasn't she like featured in like a machine gun with a machine gun leg? Was that her with the machine gun leg?
That was her.
Anyway, Rose McGowan was a major critic of this. She said it focused on casual violence against women. All right, I'm going to turn the floor over to you to see what you think. We might have differing opinions here.
I think this is so fucking stupid. A superhero having her life threatened by a supervillain is casual violence. Some idiot out there is going to see this billboard and decide to go choke women. Well, and I guess Judas Priest causes people to, to commit suicide. I don't get it. We have a powerful woman here, a woman that's worked her ass off to make herself America's sweetheart, put in a situation where it seems like she's in real trouble and she might die. And it's eliciting an emotional response. This billboard is eliciting emotional responses from people. And last time I checked, the purpose of an ad is to elicit an emotional response out of people. I think this is actually some pretty powerful imagery here. I don't think it's bad at all. But the casual violence thing, or the violence against women, you know what? That's fine. Let's just... No violence against women on billboards, but it's still in the movie. If it's wrong in the billboard, is it wrong in the movie? I would say if it's wrong here, it's wrong here. So does that mean we can no longer have superhero women fighting, kicking ass, or maybe getting their ass kicked, as superhero movies, oftentimes do?
I don't think it was the right image for this film. First off, I'm not going to go the whole. I don't think it was acceptable to show because again, it was in the movie trailers. It's in the movie. Yeah. To your point, I don't think it's the right image for the film, though. I think it. To me, I get nothing out of it because the fact is, like, if you're seeing this one still of the film, my guess is like, well, Mystique's not going to die. Like, I don't get an emotional response from it. By seeing that image, it's like, well, she's not going to die. She's going to survive now. Because that's something that you wouldn't want to display if she was actually going to die. You'd want to try to keep that a little bit under wraps.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, maybe so.
So I don't get, like, I want to see something that's like demonstrating the total, like, wouldn't have even been better of a picture of like Apocalypse being really giant, pushing down Xavier, even though that only happened in Xavier's mind and not in real life. Like that shows like a dominance. That shows a power. This shows a slightly blue guy choking a bluer female. In fact, is she blue because she's being choked? Because she wasn't really blue in the whole movie anyway.
Right? Yeah, no, she wasn't. The argument isn't that it's a bad ad. The argument
Well, my
is
argument is that that is a bad ad.
Well,
That's my.
well, there's a ton. I mean, movie posters have fallen off a cliff in the last 10 years, so they all suck. But the argument that's being made is that you're showing violence against a woman, and by doing that, or that somehow that's offensive. The actual act of showing violence against a woman. This is lining up. We're going to have nothing but rays from Star Wars. This is what's going to happen. This is our future here. Nothing but rays are coming because Black Widow says, "Oh, I'm a monster too." Everybody flips the fuck out. This is offensive now. Women are to be treated like children. That's what I'm taking from this.
That's what you're taking from it.
Yeah, that's it. We have to coddle women. We have to protect those sensitive creatures. They cannot be on an even playing field with men.
See, I think the one point that you're making that's your saving grace right now is you're talking about super beings, if you will. You're talking about mutants. You're talking about people that don't exist in reality. You're talking about figments of our imagination here. If it was just a random, how you doing type of guy choking his girlfriend on a Billboard poster, that would be a different story.
Context is everything. Yes. Right. Context rules everything. Yes. This isn't, I'm not saying that Lifetime should start putting up billboards of, the guy in the wife beater choking his girlfriend, Tracy Gold or whoever it is.
They're called wife beaters for a reason.
Right. This is context. I'm taking that Mystique is on even footing with every other superhero around.
Possibly more so.
Yeah.
Apparently she's like the key to everything in the X-Men universe.
Apparently so.
I don't know. Like, yeah. I didn't like the poster at all. I didn't like the billboard. I didn't think it didn't. The emotional response that you're talking about, I didn't get that. I felt this movie is it's just wrong in so many fucking levels. In regards of just being a bad film and then advertising poorly. And I think this is another aspect of it, is they chose something that was the wrong image for this film.
Yeah, they maybe have.
Ultimately.
Yeah. They should have shown Quicksilver. that's the bright spot of this damn movie.
The explosion with Quicksilver like saving people or something like that, that would have been, more to the point. The missiles shooting up, so just something to show the magnitude of what this film was supposed to be anyway, as opposed to a slightly taller, pale shade blue guy choking a blue woman.
Yeah.
That's what we got.
Yeah.
That's what we got. We're going to take a quick break.
You want to take a break? We're going right to it. Take a break?
We don't need to take a break, do we?
I don't think so.
Let's not take a break then.
Usually
we take a break. Let's just keep going.
Let's just roll with it.
So our main topic of this week, we're going to talk about the top 10 best music scenes in films. I hope that makes sense to people. We're not talking about musicals. We're talking about a scene where music played a key role. If you are commenting, let us know your picks, and before we get to our number one, we'll kind of cover some people's picks. So if you comment during this, we'll get to them. I'm gonna start with my number 5. This is a no-brainer here.
No-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. It's got to be stuck in the middle with you, Reservoir Dogs. I think Tarantino, and I could have picked a couple of Tarantino ones. I think Tarantino does it so well. I think Scorsese does it really well. I think Tarantino does it really well too. He picks songs that fit scenes. But if I close my eyes and I think of one Tarantino music scene, I think this is the one. You can probably argue maybe it's the whole dancing thing with Uma and in Pulp Fiction. Maybe it's that one, but close my eyes, I think of, here's Michael Madsen torturing a cop, dousing him in gasoline, cutting off his ear, and kind of doing a nice little dance to Stuck in the Middle with You.
Yeah, that's a good one. And he taps the ear.
Yeah. And it made the song like very recognized again. And if you think about what Tarantino does for actors in general, of giving actors new life, he does the same with music as well. I think another great one of his is "My Baby Shot Me Down." I think is another like forgotten kind of song, and in Kill Bill he kind of brought that one back to life. And I think overall, if I had to pick the one for Tarantino, it'd be Stuck in the Middle with You.
It's a good one. It is a good one. There's no doubt. You're getting a little reaction in the chat about this. Tarantino is a hack. Our good friend Puck is saying. I kind of figured Steelers Will should be in there. IAB. Kim.
I think I told you, I had two more on the outs, which we'll get to a little bit later when we go over some other people's picks. I had two more that could have made it in. I couldn't find a way to edge Stuck in the Middle out, though.
It's a good one. Yeah, I really like that one. It is the worst thing you've never seen. That sequence. It's horrible.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so fucked up.
You're number 5.
Jamil liked your choice, by the way. Jamil said,
"Thank you,
good
Jamil."
choice. Yes.
Thank you, Jamil. Smart
Sweet
man.
Jane, Natural Born Killers.
Yeah, man.
I love how this right here after the diner scene that is just batshit insane. The credits, which are even more insane, the movie slows down and shows us how fucked up these two are really, really in the head. They're having this kind of spiritual awakening in the desert while he's taking a piss. They're talking about becoming immortal. There'll be no more death for us. And he's coming down riding the horse. It's so perfect. It's just so perfect, and the way it's lit with the spotlights on each of them, it's just so perfect. Yeah. I love it. It's one of my favorite moments in the movie. And to be honest, there's so many in this film. There's so many. You could have picked anything.
Reznor and Stone did a hell of a job with the soundtrack for this film and putting it together and matching it up with the scenes. And I mean, the prison break with Rage, and you have the diner scene with the L7 shit list.
Yeah.
It's a great soundtrack. All in. It's a hell of a soundtrack. It even has the Nine Inch Nails, "I'm going to burn this whole world down." It's a lot of great stuff in this. But I think Sweet Jane's the one. I think you're right. I think that's the scene. That's the song. I think works so well in Natural Born Killers.
Absolutely. I think it's what that scene helps change what feels like perhaps just pure exploitation into something a hell of a lot more, and then sets us up for what's coming down the road.
And it also, I'm a huge fan of Natural Born Killers. I think it gets a lot of crap nowadays. I think a lot of people think that it aged poorly and doesn't hold up. I think it does. I still enjoy it. Last time I watched it, I enjoyed it a lot. But it also made me realize, wow, Woody Harrelson can actually act.
He can. That was the big question at the time. Do you remember? He was just Woody in Cheers.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a good.
He did that, and he played what's his name? The Smut movie, right?
Yep.
I can't think of his name.
Larry
People
Flint.
versus Larry Flint. Yeah.
Larry Flint.
Another good film.
That's my.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah. Ready?
I guess number 4 for me.
Number 4 for you.
This is a pretty bad one.
It's pretty fucked up.
It's a pretty terrible pick on my part.
See, I would not say this should be a billboard.
Maybe with the giant dildo, maybe the giant plaster penis. Oh. that's the poster. That's the billboard.
Right there.
Yeah, Singing in the Rain being sung during a vicious assault and rape.
Mm-hmm.
It's taking this pure happy song. Think of the context of this song originally is literally from a musical where a guy is happy and singing in the rain, and then perverting it into an assault and rape scene.
Yeah.
I must say, though, it works so well.
No, it really does. It's very, very effective. Yeah, I mean, I was really probably too young when I first saw this to quite get it, but revisiting it not too long ago, it's just chilling.
Yeah, I don't know, man, and I have a feeling that this won't be the last Kubrick film that appears on this list either. I'm assuming that there'll possibly be one or two more Kubrick films chosen.
I think so.
Uh, I think what is so brilliant about Clockwork Orange is a lot of the music is classical music, which I think
Well, it's classical music, but it's electronica,
right,
which I
right.
thought I think that was actually an incredible bit of foresight on his part.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think one of the great things about this is again, when you think of classical music, you think of more intellectualism, right? You think of more refined people.
Yes.
And
Snobs.
again, exactly. And he's taking this and turning it into a perversion.
Yeah.
Think of the sped up sex scene. You know, just whenever I hear that song, that's all I think of now. You know, same thing with Singing in the Rain. I hear Singing in the Rain. I don't think of the movie Singing in the Rain. I think of Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
Well done, Kubrick. Well done.
All right. Moving on.
You're number 4.
My
Yep.
number 4. What did I pick? I can't remember. Oh yeah. What is Life from Goodfellas? I know everybody says Layla, that montage, or the montage when they're going into the restaurant. Then he kissed me, but I just love this one so much. I mean, this is the moment when Henry and Karen's life is just out of control. I mean, if you remember, they're cruising around town, totally tweaked out, dodging a helicopter they think is following them. They got guns in the trunk and they're on the way to score a shitload of cocaine. They stop, actually, they pick up the guns from her mom's house, right? Yeah. And then take off there. They hide in the grocery store for a few hours. I mean, they are just gone at this point. And then they get to that shitty hotel with Pittsburgh connections. Henry is getting yelled at by his girlfriend on the phone. He's yelling at his babysitter on the phone. Karen doesn't seem to give a shit about anything except getting a rail. And they are just barely hanging on at this point. And, what is life? What is life for them? It's a good question. I think this was brilliant by Scorsese. But again, draw a number out of the hat with Goodfellas, and you've got perfection.
Yeah, I mean, much like your number 5 pick with National Born Killers, I think there's so many good songs in Goodfellas. And another one that didn't make my list for Scorsese is from Casino would be Nights in White Satin.
Good one.
Another pick. Scorsese is good like that too, and we've mentioned that he loves that certain a certain style, that certain classic rock type thing. But even Departed. I mean, Shipping Up to Boston. You know that one.
Yeah.
Like that's another good one. Yeah, I'm partial to Layla. I certainly am.
Right. It's a great scene. I'm not going to lie.
It's a fantastic scene. But I can't argue with what you're saying because the way that scene plays out, I think you're right. It just shows how far gone these two humans have come from the beginning. Great choice. I like it.
All right.
Yep.
Let's get to your number 3.
Man, just love it. Just dropped in Lebowski. Got the dream sequence going on. Gutter balls. I mean, amazing. And there's another one where it's like, it's a song that you probably wouldn't, if it wasn't in Lebowski, you probably wouldn't give it much mind. You wouldn't even think of it. But now it's like, it comes on, and it's like, hell yeah, that's Lebowski. Yeah. What condition my condition is in.
There you go. It's a song that's awesome. It's too cool for Kenny Rogers.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
One of my favorite bands, Murder by Death, does a great cover of it. They do a fantastic cover of it. Like one of their things is they do Kickstarters to raise money to be able to vinyl press all of their CDs, all of their albums to do vinyl press. So they do Kickstarters, and one of the Kickstarter prizes is if you give a certain amount of money, you can pick a cover song for them to do. And so on not this last cover album that they did, but the previous one someone chose just dropped in. Yeah. Anyone having comments about Lebowski? Because if so, they're all dead to me.
Yeah. Big Lebowski is overrated from Mr. Puck Propaganda.
Pop propaganda is overrated.
Oh.
Hockey's probably no, it's probably rated completely well because hockey sucks.
Oh. Shot at hockey. So we lost women and Canada tonight. All right. No, I love this pick too. It is perfect. The bowling alley sequence that tries to emulate 1940s, 50s Hollywood. It's so wonderful.
The costumes are so great.
Yeah, they are.
You know, Julianne Moore, and you know, and the whole like sequence of him going down the alley and like going under all the women. Yeah. You know, and he's like smiling, like that look on his face, like. So, and yeah, tying into the whole like subplot of like, you know, the porn industry, things like that, like. Yeah, and then it just ends kind of nightmarishly with giant scissors. Cut off his Johnson.
Cut off your Johnson. Yes. Oh, let's see. Oh, to go back to the Goodfellas vibe real quick, you have gotten a reply from Puck since we're feuding right now. Puck says, "Oh, dead to me."
Tell him to go get his shine box.
Oh, there you go. Get your sign box.
You're number 3.
My number 3. Let's see here.
I think you switched to number 3.
Yes, Somebody to Love. Yes, yeah. Somebody to Love, Cable Guy. Yeah. It was going to be Red Right Hand from Dumb and Dumber, because that's just so fucking funny. But then I remember Jim Carrey had even a better musical scene. The karaoke scene in Cable Guy is awesome. First off, Cable Guy is a criminally underrated dark comedy. And to be honest, it's a pretty funny sequence. But what really pushes it over the top is that little speech he gives right before he sings. He picks up the mic and he's like, you might recognize this song from a little rockumentary. Recognize this song performed by Jefferson Airplane in a little rockumentary called Gimme Shelter about the Rolling Stones and their nightmare in Altamont. That night, the Oakland chapters of the Hells Angels had their way. Tonight, it's my turn. That is so fucked up. That is so fucked up. But it's still kind of funny. Because you remember the Hells Angels murdered the African-American guy at the concert. Oh, my God. It's so fucked up. But it still makes... I mean, and then he goes off and does the actual performance, and it's hilarious. I love this song. I love this movie. I was never a big Jim Carrey fan up until this point. Ace Ventura really never did it for me.
Yeah, I think this was the beginning of like a good golden age of Jim Carrey that died off fairly quickly.
Yeah.
But he had a good stretch. I really enjoy Man in the Moon. You know, as much as it was kind of a imitation of Andy Kaufman as opposed to like an actual interpretation, you know, it was more of an imitation. I also like the what was the other one that he was in? The one where people were watching him on TV.
Truman
Show.
Yeah.
I like Truman Show.
Yeah.
So he had a stretch of a couple good movies. I think Cable Guy. You're right. I think it's underrated, and I think this is a great scene. I think it's a great music scene.
I toyed with a minute about the Mighty Mouse scene from Man in the Moon because that's pretty funny too.
Mm-hmm.
But I figured that's Andy Kaufman's work.
That is.
Yeah. So it was, yeah. But yeah, Cable Guy. Got to watch it again sometime.
Yeah, maybe we'll have an episode to it.
Oh, I'd like that.
That'd be cool.
I'm gonna go after Janine Garofalo, huh?
Let's do number 2. All right. You have to be square. American Psycho.
There you go.
Do you like Huey Lewis? You know, I read this book before I saw the movie, and the book is just it's great, but it's terrible. And one of the things I loved about the book, though, is there's these just literally whole chapters of Patrick Bateman doing movie reviews. Music reviews of like albums, and it's talking about like what's so great about Huey Lewis and the News, where it's like this is what makes Genesis the greatest band ever. It's like Whitney Houston, like, and it's simply him kind of like reciting music reviews that he's read or he's heard secondhand,
Right, right. Yeah, it's
but
exactly
it
that.
completely ties into that character as the sociopath that he is, and it makes it great. So the fact that they did so, Mara Herron did so great with that in the film, uh, tying into that, like he's listening to the music on his Walkman, really captured the essence of that aspect of Patrick Bateman. But here it comes. He's he's got Jared Leto, the Joker, in his apartment,
Yeah.
and he's Batman, and he does what Batman should do to the Joker, and he murders him with an axe
Whoa, whoa,
while
whoa, whoa.
playing Hip to Be Square by Huey Lewis in the News.
Yeah.
Great scene. Try getting a reservation at Dorian now.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it's so good. There's no doubt about it. It's fantastic, and I love the way they do it. You're absolutely right. The way he recites like snippets of reviews, and he just regurgitates ideas he's heard elsewhere. It's
Just
like,
with the
yeah,
arm movement, you know,
yeah.
pushes the button and does the. Oh,
Oh boy,
so good. Yeah,
a classic.
it's a hell of a film. It's such a great film that we're going to talk about it next week.
That's right. We don't want to talk about it too much right now.
Not going to talk about it too much. We're going to talk about it next week. We're going to have actor Bill Sage. If you don't know who Bill Sage is, he is in American Psycho. He's in the infamous business card scene, which is possibly one of the top 5 funniest things I've ever seen in film. He's in the but if you watch a show called Happen Leonard, he was one of the main actors in Happen Leonard as well. So really exciting. Bill Sage be on next week. We're talking American Psycho. So that's my number 2. Let's do your number 2, and then after your number 2, we'll start going through other people's lists as well.
Ooh, okay. Surfin' Bird from Full Metal Jacket. This is my my obligatory Kubrick
This is
entry.
your Kubrick.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I told you we weren't done with Kubrick.
I find this whole sequence just infinitely fascinating. First off, the way the bubblegum, not even bubblegum, like the most bubblegum song in the history of songs is playing to all this violence and destruction and just horrible conditions. That works, but I also kind of think that the message right there is the bird is the word, in that the only way you're getting out of here is is on the bird, and the only way to get there is you're going to be really fucked up or dead. And then the camera that is tracking everybody. Vietnam the movie, people shout out, and am I John Wayne or you? That it's just really, really interesting the way it all works together. And I'm not going to lie, I don't know that even I fully understand exactly what he's getting at yet. I need to watch it probably like 20 more times, but it is so compelling. It's always interesting to go back to it, man, every few months just to see it again.
I think one of the fascinating things about Full Metal Jacket is the beginning. The first half is what the film is known for,
Yeah.
and everyone absolutely loves the first half, and they that's the part that everyone goes back to is the D'Onofrio and the Arlie Ermy. Like that's the kind of stuff that they go back to. But the real movie is the second half. The real substance, I feel, of the film, and the greatness of the film, in my point of view, is the second half of it. And I don't know, man. I think it's a film that is worth revisiting.
Oh,
even if it's just for watching the bird is the word scene. Even if it's just that, I think it's a film that's worth rewatching and revisiting. I don't know. I sometimes I feel that it's overlooked in Kubrick's repertoire.
I think it is. I think it wasn't particularly well liked when it first came out. Mm-hmm. People liked the first half. They hated the second half.
Yeah, so weird.
Yeah, it is interesting, and I think that it is worth definitely a look. Another thing I found interesting is that Kubrick himself said about Vietnam. I found this quote: "Vietnam was probably the first war that was run as an advertising agency might run it."
It's amazing.
Yeah, I thought that was really, really insightful.
Awesome pick. All right, let's go. Let's check out some picks. Anyone mention any picks in the comments?
Pony Boys dropped a few.
All right.
I
All
will.
right, let's go through them.
You want to go through Pony Boys?
Let's go through the comments first, and then we'll show some other pics on screen.
Pony Boy, kitchen scene from The Big Chill. Ain't too proud to beg the Temptations. He says it's a great criterion. Pony Boy also said James Franco and piano in Spring Breakers singing Britney Spears every time. Hilarious, love it, suck it, haters. King of New York, am I black enough for you? Schoolie D, party shot with a blue filter. Walking in Fishborn were in it. This is our friend Abel Ferrara. Yeah, King of New York, yeah. That's it that we have right now.
Okay, well let's show some on screen. If anyone has any comments, feel free to do it. Let's show who we're going to go through first.
We are going to go to, I got to switch frames real quick. There we go.
Yep.
We're going to show Detective D.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. I'm going to have to, now you see, this is the magic of my computer. I'm going to have to I had this really small window that I was looking to show at. Now I have to increase it to actually see what exactly he said.
Hard Times, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Wake me up before you go. Of course, if anybody knows Detective D, and I think you will get to know him eventually on this channel, Will Ferrell will always sneak in somehow.
Christmas Vacation.
Yep. I like that Lost Highway pick. Do you remember that one? That's the when
oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
with Fred gets that little TV and sees Renee in that snuff film. Yeah.
Oh yeah, amazing. No, absolutely great pick. And again, another soundtrack Trent Reznor worked on.
Yeah.
Lost Highway. Fantastic. He put that together. And I think I love I'm Deranged by Bowie in Lost Highway. I think that's another great one.
Oh yeah. Lost Highway was close because I almost took Song of the Siren for a pick of mine. Almost, because I told you guys in the Lost Highway review how much I love that song. Desperately trying to capture something that's long gone.
You got Manson's cover of "I Put a Spell on You."
Very good, very good.
Really, another good one. Good stuff. All right, next one.
Next one, our friend Kim. He's been on the debate show.
Hey, so his number 5, "Where's My Mind?" Almost made my list. Absolutely love it. The ending of the movie Fight Club, far superior than the ending of the book Fight Club, and I think that song really helps tie it together. And I wasn't a huge fan of the Pixies. I still won't say that I'm a huge fan of the Pixies. I like the Pixies, but that song kind of does it for me every single time. Absolutely love it. Let's see. Show Me the Way to Go Home. Jaws. Classic. I don't think you're going to get Jump Jack Flash, Mean Streets. Yep. Hell yeah.
He's got the creepiest lip sync performance in the history of movies in Blue Velvet.
Blue Velvet. Amazing.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, great picks. Great picks.
This is your new best friend, Puck Propaganda.
All right. I didn't know that he gave us a list, so we're going to actually read it. Hey, Hip to Be Square. He's got American Psycho. Look at that. Taxi Driver. See, Scorsese knows what he's doing, doesn't he?
He certainly does.
Yeah.
I like that Lou Reed Perfect Day in Trainspotting when sinking into the carpet when you're overdosing. It's really good. It's a really good scene.
Hey, and hey, speaking of Lou Reed, also in Lost Highway, this Magic Moment.
Wow, a lot of connections.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I Want to Be Your Dog. Yeah, that's another good one. This is number 1. Really good.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Puck's Canadian, but he made some good picks. Office Space, another good one. No, that was good top 5.
Despite his handicap, he did pretty well.
Yeah, right.
Sean.
See, this is interesting. This is a very interesting list.
Sean really went off the beaten path here.
I love the Goodbye Stranger scene from Magnolia before the show.
Refresh my memory about that one.
Before the show, we were kind of talking about that's the bar scene. That's the.
Oh yeah. I have a lot of love. Yeah.
I have a lot of love to give. Yeah. Goodbye Stranger. That's a good one. I love it.
Hey, I have to admit, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, Face Off. It's pretty good. Face Off is first off John Woo's only good American movie, and that's a pretty good scene.
Face Off is so ridiculous in its concept that you could just switch faces, and that Nicolas Cage and John Travolta have the same exact body type and would fool anyone. But I love it.
But yeah, you're in. You can't help it. Yeah.
I can't help it. Good picks.
Yeah, it is. Let's see. Who do we have left? Tom. I love that Navajo Joe election pick. That's wonderful.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful pick. And he also built himself a little pyramid. You see how his picks kind of cascade down?
Oh, look at
He
that.
did that on purpose.
Look at that.
You know, he created a little
If
pyramid.
you move one letter on the bottom, the whole thing will fall over. X-Men.
That's it.
Taught me
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Right. If you make some hand signals,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
pull the number
Secret
one out,
just-
everything's falling down.
Yeah,
The
that-
Shining. Yeah, that's it. It's, the shinning is killing it all. Right. Now I'm getting in close.
There you go. Getting close. Yeah, The Shining. That's really good. That's when we see that Jack has always been part of the hotel.
Very good picks. Thanks for everyone for sending your picks in.
Let's see. Ponyboy chipped in again. He said, "Got to mention Boogie Nights, Sister Christian." Oh, yeah, he's right about that. He is. Yeah.
See, we opened up the P.T. Anderson book, and that just
It is good. It is good. Even a P.T. Anderson person such as myself.
But you like Boogie Nights though, so I mean
do
you
like
can't
Boogie
you
Nights,
can't hate on Boogie Nights.
Oh, Jack Random showed up. Dirty Laundry and Shoot 'Em Up.
No, I'm not. I don't know that one. I don't know that scene.
Jack Black doing Let's Get It On at the end of High Fidelity.
Yeah.
Yep. Good stuff.
I like High Fidelity. I was a fan of High Fidelity.
Well, we need to get Detective Dion to talk about that someday.
He's not a fan?
He and I share the same opinions on High Fidelity.
Not a fan?
Not a fan.
No.
Yeah.
It's been a while, so I don't get me wrong. It's been a while since I was a fan when I saw it originally.
Oh.
I've read the book too. Did you read the book at all?
I don't read books. Come on now. What? I only read books about advantage slot machine playing. That's the only books I read.
You like the loose slots, don't you?
Yes.
Let's get to our number.
Beavis and Butthead had some good songs in there too.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They had Primus, poetry and prose. They had I Got You, Babe, with Sonny and Cher. Let's see. They had 99 Ways to Die.
Yeah. Your Love Is Like a Roller Coaster. I don't remember.
They had probably the greatest and most foresightful, if foresightful is a word, Nirvana song ever. It was I Hate Myself and Want to Die. Maybe we should have read into that a little bit more.
Could be.
I don't know.
If he had done a song called My Wife Is Going to Kill Me to Make Herself More Famous, maybe we could have written that too.
Funny enough, is Primus then did a song about that called on the Coattails of a Dead Man She Rides.
Our man here, Robert Melee, just commented, and he said, "Under My Skin, Gamer, if only for Michael C. Hall dancing as his own puppeteer." I almost put that in.
Really?
I was close. I'm a big fan of those guys' movies. Gamer, Crank and Crank 2, fantastic. Seriously, Crank, guys. Best action movies of the 21st century. There you go. There's yours.
It had to be my number one.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what a way to end a film. I mean, after, basically that great climax scene, pun totally intended, and it's the end of the world. And we'll meet again.
Oh, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
Great. So great.
What is it?
And
The tunnel gap? We can't allow a tunnel gap?
Yeah. Right. It's because again, it's all this buildup. It's all this buildup in the war room, and when they realize that there's no way to stop it, and it's this mad dash to I don't think it's tunnel gap though. It's not tunnel. I can't think of what the word is.
Gap?
Mine shaft gap or something like that. Yeah, it's. I think it's Mineshaft. We can have Mineshaft. But this whole buildup where Strangelove is talking about how they're going to repopulate the world and what they're going to do, and the ratio of women to men, and how women are going to have to be chosen because of their sexuality and all this stuff, and it's leading up to him getting up and going, "Mind fear, I could walk."
It's great. It's great. I can't lie. And it's even better that they didn't end it on a pie fight like they were going to.
I agree. Even though the line, our president was shot down in his prime.
Oh, God.
That's my number one, Doctor Strangelove. So we had three Kubricks on our list, and then Tom had a Kubrick from The Shining. So I feel Kubrick was well represented. I want to do a quasi Kubrick one. It's not really Kubrick, but I'm giving Kubrick credit for it. Is for AI. Uh, Ministry's What About Us, where they're playing the robot slaughter fair, essentially, where they're tearing up robots, and it's Ministry, playing What About Us at this giant like fair. The reason that I give Kubrick credit for this is in his notes for the film, he wanted to have Ministry in it because Ministry actually sampled a lot of Kubrick films in their songs. So they did a lot of sampling from Full Metal Jacket, So Kubrick actually heard it, loved it, wanted to get Ministry involved in the soundtrack for AI. Should he have done it? One of my favorite pictures is Al Jorgensen on the red carpet for AI, like going up to Steven Spielberg, hugging him, and taking off his cowboy hat and putting it on Spielberg's head. Amazing. So,
yeah, there's no way that would have been a Spielberg pick.
No,
don't
think so.
Yeah.
All right,
he would have crammed John Williams in it more.
All right.
Going to my number one. You there?
I'm here.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll go to my number one.
I got a text message. I'm sorry. I got a text message.
Oh, well, you can share with the rest of us. You can share with America.
No, I really can't.
Okay, my number one is Crying from Mulholland Drive. This is it, man. This is it.
That had to be your Lynch pick.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest movies ever made. This is one of the greatest scenes set to music ever made, source music ever. She's desperate to not think about this. She's trying to write herself a happy ending here in Mulholland Drive. Betty's doing whatever she can just to pretend like none of this happened. But whenever you're grieving, and I think we've all lost something in our life, there's those little moments where you can feel good, but then it'll come back to you in a wave, and it'll just knock you on your fucking ass what you've lost or what you're hurting over. This is her in the dream. This is the inevitable fall that's coming that she cannot ever forget. She had her girlfriend killed. And she has created this insane dream to try and protect herself from this, just to try and forget it for just a little while at least. Impossible. And there's this really strange nightclub with this woman singing this amazing Roy Orbison cover comes out. It just hits her to the core. The wave and the guilt and the sorrow of what she's done just hits her full bore. And then, the morning's coming. The dream is crashing for her. And when she wakes up, she's going to fucking kill herself.
I think one of the amazing things is when we had Bob Engels on the show, mm-hmm. and just talking about working with Lynch and just how he approached things. And one of his things was he was a lover of music. I mean, the whole concept of getting David Bowie involved with Fire Walk with Me.
Yeah.
And thinking of this. And the fact is, you could have picked a lot of songs from a lot of his films. As we mentioned, we talked about some Lost Highway before. We talked about Blue Velvet. You could have picked... there was a lot. There was a lot you could have chosen from. I think you picked the right one.
This was, we've talked about this. You're absolutely right. That what started in Twin Peaks, what got kind of refined in Lost Highway, was mastered in Mulholland Drive.
Yep.
Yeah. It was those ideas he was kind of turning over his head, and he finally got all the pieces together, and it fit perfectly, and it created one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah, and the scene, the sequence that you're talking about, the song fits perfectly.
It is.
And it's tragic. It's tragic. And, when we talked about Fire Walk with Me, and we came up with this whole concept of, Fire Walk with Me was the draft for Lost Highway. Mm-hmm. Lost Highway was the draft for Mulholland Drive. He came close in both movies of hitting similar tragic scenes, but fell a little short. He didn't fall short in Mulholland Drive.
No, he hit it on the nose.
And for those of you that haven't seen Mulholland Drive, it's not an easy film to watch. I mean, casually sit down and watch, David Lynch and say, yeah, I'm gonna put on Mulholland Drive. Uh, it's a tough film to watch. I think back to like, it's funny too. I'm probably gonna get some shit from Detective D on this one too. Is thinking of Darren Aronofsky, right?
You are going to get some shit. Yep.
And Darren Aronofsky uses film score, I feel, really well. So not necessarily like songs. And again, this could be a whole different list, the use of film score. And I think we even talked about possibly even doing like opening credits as its own separate list. I feel that like Aronofsky can utilize film score to really build up the tragedy in a scene or build up the emotion in a scene. And I think that's in a way easier to do than using a song. I think score is written or score is designed to invoke emotions. Yeah. But to pick a song that truly fits in with the scene and makes it work well, I think is more of a challenge. So maybe D isn't going to be mad at me because I'm kind of taking Aronofsky down a notch in a way. Yeah. But think of like some of the tragic scenes in Aronofsky's films that utilize the score, and then try to see if he could have done the same by using a song in lieu of it, like Lynch did. It's a challenge. I think Lynch is up for that challenge, or was up to that challenge. We'll see. We'll see what he's still got left in the tank.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Oh, let's see. We got a few more picks. Breakfast Club, Don't You Go Forget About Me. Don't You Forget About Me, I should say. Simple Minds, Pony Boy. Tom soaring out. I'm always listening to the Barry Lyndon soundtrack, but it's not cool enough for a list.
Oh, it's definitely cool enough for a list.
Oh, Kim.
It's its own list.
Yeah, Kim wants a bonus pick. Brazil from Brazil.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Karate Kid, you're the best. Yeah, I almost got that too.
By the way, I totally missed it before. Did you say that Robot Melee made a pick?
Robert Melee.
It's Robot Melee.
Robot.
It's Robot Melee.
Sorry, I can't read.
My old co-host from my Game of Thrones podcast.
Oh, okay, fun.
You threw me off when you said that was the text message I got. By the way.
Oh, okay.
You threw me.
I am so sorry for.
I'm like, all right. I thought it was like.
Look, there's a lot happening here. I don't know if anybody's aware of that. I can't always read every comment. Yeah.
10 screens.
Yes. Jamil also threw out some picks that we could not get in, so I wanted to throw that in there. Pulp Fiction, the dancing scene, Chuck Berry. Animal House, Toga Party, Shout.
Good one.
Almost Famous Bus Ride, the Tiny Dancer by Elton John. Anchorman, Afternoon Delight by the Channel 4 News Team. Good. And he also wanted to throw out The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the Tuco torture scene with Ennio Morricone playing. Mm-hmm. I think that was scored for the movie, though, Jamil. Mm-hmm. Wasn't it?
Doesn't matter. He's awesome.
His name is Robert Melee. Okay.
It is Robert Melee?
Yes. His name is Robert Melee.
His name is Robert Melee. That's the text I got, by the way. Okay. There you go. So you were right. I was wrong. Anyway, Robert Melee, a.k.a. Robot Melee, used to do a Game of Thrones podcast with me back in the day.
You guys should do it again sometime. I hear Game of Thrones is actually good now.
It's debatable.
Oh, you got the touch. Transformers the movie. Jack Random coming strong.
Oh, you got the touch. Transformers the movie, and you got the touch. Boogie Nights.
Oh,
and also Feel My Heat. Boogie Nights.
Yeah. P.T. Anderson's great. Blah blah blah.
Feel my heat. I mean, come on. When I first saw Boogie Nights and I saw You Got the Touch, and I remembered it was from Transformers. I mean, I lost my mind. Amazing. But You Got the Touch in Transformers, I think probably higher above You Got the Touch in Boogie Nights.
Yeah. I think so. I think that's a safe bet.
All right. Got one more minute left to close out the show.
Oh, shit.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for your picks. It was great. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to us. You can also follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter. Tune in next Monday night for a brand new vegetable lasagna show. And you should actually go back and watch last night's vegetable lasagna show, where you have Tom shitting on X-Men Apocalypse some more and also talking about the lobster. So you should check that out.
Is that a euphemism? Or is that a movie?
It's not a euphemism.
Okay.
It's a movie.
Oh, okay.
We will be back next Tuesday to discuss American Psycho with actor Bill Sage. And then the following Thursday, we will have brand new Master Debaters. Abe, we just hit 10 p.m. Final words.
My reproductive organ looks like a lobster tail without its shell.
Oh.
I like that line.
I got nothing.
Okay, cool. Talk to you later.